Actually, I just learned recently that the reason we even have cancer treatments that we do, the ones that we do, were because researchers were looking at goose buttholes. That's a thing. Look it up. They were researching goose anal glands. Welcome to Too Busy, Didn't Know, here on the Go Joe Show. It's the episode of the show where I cover the latest headlines in science, technology, startups, and business. Full disclosure, I work at a business builder, busy building businesses every single day. So I got a lot of opinions around science, technology, and business. Let's hop into it and see what we got this week. But let's get into the news because there's some dope stuff happening this week, like a new study reveals why whales don't get cancer. Jumping right into some science news here. New study reveals why whales don't get cancer. We can see here, if you didn't know, whales apparently don't get cancer very often, and scientists are now kind of looking into why. They speculated that since whales live for so long, they're exposed to numerous pathogens like viruses or bacteria or other harmful like radiation waves. Thus, they evolve genes enhanced to protect against these diseases, such as DNA repair mechanisms and other biological processes. So what they're saying there are scientists assume that they were repairing their genes to prevent cancer. Cancer is when a gene starts mutating and it is copying itself incorrectly, and then it freaks out, and then the cells multiply, and that's cancer. We get cancer cells from that. So the scientists decided to examine how whales' genes duplicate. They used DNA sequencing to create a genetic map of whales' tumor suppressor genes and those of 15 other mammalian species. Then they compared them all, obviously. What they found were 71 tumor suppressor genes that were duplicated in the whales studied. They also discovered CXCR2, a gene believed to regulate immune function, the spread of tumors, and DNA damage. So it seems like they have extra or duplicated tumor suppressing genes, meaning if they do grow tumors, they have these specialized genes that prevent the tumor from growing out of control, so they're suppressed, thus they don't get cancer. There's also this CXCR2, some other gene that regulates their immune function. So pretty much they have stuff in their DNA that's preventing them from getting cancer. And now the researchers are going to try to take these tumor suppressing genes, I think, and apply them to humans and see if perhaps we can affect human genes on their longevity and their ability to fight off cancer. It's very exciting. The more we know, the more or closer we are to a potential cure. And then we can get back to immortality. Get back to it like we had it. We never had immortality, unless you're a vampire. If you're a vampire and watching my show, hope you get some blood today. Also, stay out of the sun. I had no garlic, so stick around. That's pretty cool. If you look into research around like longevity, there's a great book by a researcher named David Sinclair called Longevity. I think I have that on my bookshelf. Or no, it's called Lifespan. It is back there. Lifespan by David Sinclair. Really good information on how aging works and how our genetics work, and it kind of reframes aging to view it as a disease and not as a inevitable thing. That's the word I'm looking for. Inevitable. It's not an inevitable thing, or we could eventually prevent it or reverse it the more that we understand about genes. In fact, there are species like whales and jellyfish that don't age or have no cancer. So it is possible. Super interesting stuff. Whales could be saving our lives. Actually, I just learned recently that the reason we even have cancer treatments that we do, the ones that we do, were because researchers were looking at goose buttholes. That's a thing. Look it up. They were researching goose anal glands, and one scientist did a study on it one time, and then years later, some other guy was like, why did this person think that goose buttholes were so important? And that person's research led to cancer treatments. You just never know where it's going to take us. Shout out to goose buttholes, man. Speaking of goose buttholes, some may consider them unidentified objects, and American Airlines confirms that there was a bizarre object over a airplane that was cylindrical, and it was over New Mexico. And the pilot, I heard the... Yeah, did they have the... Yeah, here's the audio.
Have any targets up here? We just had something go right over the top of us that, I hate to say this, looked like a long cylindrical object. It almost looked like a cruise missile type of thing moving really fast that went right over the top of us.
I love it. The pilot goes, yeah, so we just had something long and fast fly over us. I hate to say this, but it was an unidentified object. I'm not going to say it was an alien, but it was definitely a UFO. That's pretty cool that they have that on recorded. Wow, can't talk. It's pretty cool that they have that recorded. Yeah. And it pretty much, we're getting more and more alien news this year. So many alien things. The government is declassifying reports. Joe Rogan's having people on his podcast that have claimed to have information about aliens. We just got more and more aliens. It's pretty rad that we're getting alien news. And if you honestly are out there and you believe that we aren't alone, or that we are alone in the universe and that there's nothing else out there, you're insane. The likelihood that we are the only life in the universe is so slim, it's not even funny. There are millions and billions and billions of planets out there, and you're telling me that you don't think one of them has some sort of life on it, whether it's bacterial or viral or single-celled, some small multi-celled organism? There's absolutely no way that there's not other life out there. We're not that special that other life hasn't evolved. It might not be as intelligent as us. It might not be able to travel to us, but there's for sure life out there. 100%. Hundo percent. You know it. I know it. We all know it. I don't know why we're acting like there isn't. Let's grab a new window, though, as I go on for a rant. We got Russia, Omsk, Russia. Nice little window here to enjoy snowy weather. Looks cozy. Looks like a nice little cozy town. But yeah, aliens are out there. And if you don't believe that they're out there, then you're nuts. You've got to believe that they're out there. And actually, if we are looking for aliens, we should be looking at Venus. Not at Mars, but at Venus. And the reason why I think Venus is interesting is because millions of years ago, our sun was a lot smaller. Meaning that the Goldilocks zone where life could exist would have been probably where Venus is at. So there might have actually been life that was on Venus at one point, and we should be sending probes there to see if they can land, rummage around, and find any remnants of something. Again, maybe not intelligent life that made cities and had computers and were able to live stream themselves to people around the world instantaneously. But there might have been something out there that was living and that we just, obviously don't know about yet. But yeah, we should check out Venus. And then obviously Mars is the future because the sun is going to expand and then Mars will be in the Goldilocks zone. So we might as well think about going there now. Like that's one argument for going to Mars, is that eventually we're going to have to go because the sun's going to get too big and it's just going to get too hot regardless of what happens with climate change. I'm talking in millions of years, but still it's going to happen. Getting some tech news, though, away from aliens. Twitter, which maybe was invented by aliens to disrupt life here on Earth, announces super paid followers to let you charge for tweets. So you can now super follow somebody to get some sort of supporter badge, some subscriber-only newsletters, exclusive content, deals and discounts, and community access. Twitter, honestly, should have been doing this years ago. They are a public company. They're accountable to their shareholders, so they have to be returning value. And out of all these social media networks, they were the ones who performed the worst over time compared to other networks, like Snapchat and Facebook. So Twitter just announced that they're going to have this paid feature. It sounds similar to Substack to me. They also announced a new feature called Communities, which appear to be its take on something like Facebook groups. People can create and join groups around specific interests like cats, plants, or let's be honest, BTS and K-pop. That's going to be the most popular one. Those K-pop stands, you don't want to mess with them at all. You got to join them. You got to join them. You got that if anything, you got to listen to that Steve Aoki remix of BTS, Mic Drop. It's great. It's a great one. So yeah, super follows on Twitter. Finally getting a business model that they could be proud of. I'm sure that Scott Galloway, famous business professor, will be happy because he talks about all the time about being invested in Twitter. Let's follow that with some other tech news. There's been a quantum computing breakthrough. Quote, scientists sent the first landline message. If you're not old enough, you don't remember landlines internet where we actually had to plug in to the modem, the Ethernet cord. We didn't have wireless, and you could hear the modem dialing into the internet and making weird noises. Something like you've got mail. Something like that. So this quantum computing breakthrough, I can't even read this. There's so many words here that are just, I don't want to take time to explain them. Qubits, quantum bits, quantum information, microwave photons, superconducting qubits, entangled states via communication cable. Like, can we use simple English to explain some of this stuff? I know that this is on an engineering website, so they want to read it in engineering terms, but like, for the rest of us, can we just get like a paragraph explanation in simple English of what this landline transfer means and what actually happened? My guess is that they have transferred some sort of information. What information? I don't know. Information like a text message over some sort of line that's a quantum line from one computer to another, which is, I think, the first time that there's been two quantum computers linked and then talking to one another. Maybe that's the big deal here, as the qubits need to be in certain states. And so I think that I don't know how this all works, honestly. Quantum computing is a bit outside of my pay grade, but what I do know is that there is now a new position. So in computing, you got ones and zeros. It's either on or off, right? And now we have a third position called a superposition that's both on and off at the same time. The atom or the qubit, the bit, the actual physical tiny atom thing that they're using, the quantum bit, exists both on and off until we observe it, and then it is whatever state we observe it or want to observe it as, whether it's on or off, which means that we can technically have like a password by just thinking I have the password. I think something like that. It's very crazy. I don't know if it actually works like that, because that sounds more like telepathy. Like then I would be able to move stuff with my mind, but I feel like it kind of works like that. If you read about quantum computing, that's how they describe it. If you want to learn more about it, maybe I'll make a video, but I have not made a video about quantum computing yet. You can check out a great blockchain video that I made though. Let's grab another window from Russia over to Italy. It's an overcast, cloudy, rainy day over in Italy with an interesting wind scanning device for another story here. So congratulations, scientists, for breaking the quantum barrier here. One thing that I think is interesting is the CEO, Elon Musk, I'm sure that you guys know about him, is reportedly under SEC investigation for his Dogecoin tweets recently, or among the GameStop fiasco that happened from Wall Street Bets, r/Wall Street Bets on Reddit, and the company GameStop and the hedge funds. Elon Musk, of course, had to stick his face into the fray, and he tweeted something about Dogecoin. And so now Elon Musk is reportedly under SEC scrutiny again over his alleged cryptocurrency manipulation, you could say, especially Dogecoin. So here he said, I'm considering taking Tesla private at $420, funding secured. Funny, consider taking that $420 because, marijuana. So I'm sure Elon. Then we got SEC, three-letter acronym. Middle word is Elon's. So he is the Securities and Elon Commission. Oh, very funny. Now he went for Dogecoin. He posted this Doge, wow, this meme, which he just said literally, he didn't say he was investing or anything. I mean, yeah, it's a to the moon meme for Dogecoin, which everybody knows is a joke cryptocurrency. But after he did that, apparently there was an increase of over 500% in the last month since he did that, and now has a market capitalization of over $6 billion. So yeah, he's getting investigated by the government. And you know what's going to come out of this? Nothing. There's going to be no repercussions whatsoever, because in America we have a serious problem with holding people accountable for what they do, especially on the internet. Man, do we have a problem with holding people accountable for what they say and do, unless it happens to be around sexual harassment. Then we will definitely get stuff done. But when it comes to any sort of market manipulation or anything else, we definitely have a problem with that in the U.S. And actually pursuing people and holding them accountable for their actions. I mean, the grand Pumbaa example of this is Trump getting off for inciting an insurrection on the 6th of January this year because he didn't like that he lost the election, and he tried to overturn the results and maintain power. And there has been no accountability whatsoever for most of the people that were involved, especially Trump. Some of the rioters, of course, were and have been and continue to be arrested and prosecuted legally, but most of the people who encouraged it, incited it, and cultivated it, groomed it over months have zero accountability whatsoever, and it's really honestly pretty sad. And so I'm doubting that anything is going to happen to our boy Elon Musk, because no one is held accountable in position of power at all. So yeah, just wanted to get that off my chest, because I think it's silly that he's being investigated when nothing is going to happen. And we all know it's not going to happen, because that's the way that it works out. One last story here before we say goodbye for this day. What do we got? Microsoft Mesh aims to bring holographic virtual collaboration to all. Microsoft and Niantic demo HoloLens version of Pokemon Go. That sounds cool. This is a good uplifting, happy time story. Here we go. Pokemon Go HoloLens demo at Microsoft Ignite.
This is so great. It's like a
HoloLens. Oh, cool avatar, bro.
This is amazing, and it's what I'm so excited about.
Oh my God. I can't with this right now. Like, this guy is standing in what appears to be Asia. It looks very Asian, even though it's in Microsoft. Maybe it's Seattle, but the background looks like an Asian house, like you would see in a Studio Ghibli film. Anyways, the guy's standing there with his HoloLens on. He looks like a huge nerd. In the video, these HoloLens don't look very cool. I guess the shape of the eyeglasses part of them could be cool, but then there's this big headband going around your head that just looks silly. Like, no one looks cool in a headband, or very few people look cool in a headband. And then next to him is a floating avatar that's just there in the world that he's interacting with. And it's looks like, yeah. Oh, and then he went outside, and now there is Pokemon outside. So now Pokemon exists in the world with this guy. This is the incredible part of AR and mixed reality, and also the HoloLens promise, is the fact that this metaverse is going to come. So people are sleeping on this now. A lot of people really were not taking VR super seriously because it was VR. But once we start doing shit like this with augmented reality, everyone is going to be wearing these glasses no matter how stupid you look. Because if you can have Pikachu next to you in reality, who doesn't want that? We all want that. That is incredible. I mean, whatever it is that you want. It doesn't have to be Pikachu. You could also be showing people different fashion. You could just change your clothes. People would look at you, and it would look like different clothes are on you. You probably couldn't change your height or what you look like, but you could definitely have different fashion that you're wearing, virtual goods. And then this is where NFTs and stuff are really going to come in handy. I just made a video on NFTs if you want to check it out. That's non-fungible token goods. Once we start mixing digital lives with actual reality, with tangible reality, then stuff like NFTs and collectible digital goods become really interesting and really cool. And that's going to happen probably faster than people think. So yeah, Microsoft HoloLens and Niantic already working on Pokemon Go mixed reality. Pretty incredible. That's been today's Too Busy Didn't Know. Ain't too busy. You listened here for 30 minutes to me ramble on about different technology stuff. So now you know. If you like my content, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell to get a notification every time I upload a new video. I upload semi-daily. It's not daily anymore. It used to be daily, but now it is a bit of a staggered schedule. On Wednesdays, I do this Too Busy Didn't Know show. TBDK. On Mondays, I react to heavy bass music and dubstep, and then do gaming content on the weekends. That's my main staple. Occasionally, I'll do challenge videos, other technology reviews, and some random stuff, but that is the main bread and butter of my channel. So if you're into that, hit the button. Welcome aboard. Look forward to interacting with you. Also, the biggest compliment you can give me is sending me to a friend, so please do that. Send me to somebody and tell them that I'm rad. Until next time, though, I hope you wander somewhere cool and you learn something good, because you know it. I love you.